Happy. Hold on. How you doing, YouTube squad? Welcome to my channel. This is YouTube Can Be Great. This is the Married at First Sight review. I'm gonna put the season and the episode down in the comments in the description box so you guys can see what's going on in the title, so you guys can see which episode I'm doing. But it's the most recent one. I believe it did yesterday on TV. Now I haven't done this review in a long time, so I'm gonna say some stuff that you guys may have seen already. While I'm doing my review, I got some candy in my mouth. So basically, this is post 1 month anniversary. We got Brianna and Vincent, Ryan and Clara, Eric and Virginia, Haley and Jacob, and we got Paige and Chris. Now, we start off with Brianna and Vincent, right? Vincent is doing everything. And I mean everything. Out of all the relationships and all the seasons that we have at Married at First Sight, what I've noticed is there's always that one relationship that seems like it's going to work, okay? And I feel like with Brianna and Vincent, I do feel like it's a possibility that it can work. Judging by next episode, we don't know if it will because she's scared to have the baby. But I'm thinking they're the two that will work because Vincent is going out of his way to be a man to her, take care of her, spoil her. And I like to see them too because I feel like it gives a little ray of sunshine with all the bullshit this season has given us, because there's some bullshit that's given us, and I'm going to get into it, right? We have Paige and Chris, hot ass mess. We got Jacob and Haley. We have Eric and Virginia Child. And then we have Clara and No Sex Ryan in this season. So the only one I think that can give me some kind of relief is Vincent and Brianna. However, Vincent is now feeling like you're going to have to pay back some of the stuff that I've done. I took your ass on the boat for a 1 month anniversary. I want you to do something for me. Like, there's places I want to go, things I want to do. She said, like what? He starts listing. He said he wants to go to LA. Zip lining. He wants to go to Disneyland. He wants to go to a zoo, an aquarium. He said he wants to go to Mars. And all these things that he's naming, he wants Brianna to front up the money for doing it. And she's about to be his sugar mama. I think it was a joke when he said that, but it was funny to hear. And Brianna sitting up talking about, where's the money going to come from? Well, where did the money come from when he took her on a boat? Brianna, I feel like Vincent is going out of his way to do more for her, because I think financially she's going to be the one that is more financially secure than him. But she's going to need to give back at some point if y'all about to be married. So the next thing we got, Virginia and Eric. And I feel like this older versus younger type fights. Eric feels like he's more experienced. He's older. And sometimes I feel like he treats Virginia like she's a child. He's talking to her like he's soothing her instead of hearing what she's trying to say. He's almost like he has this blindfold on. Whatever Virginia is saying couldn't possibly make too much sense because of his experiences, tells him that what he's got is right. And with Virginia is feeling like all you're doing is pointing out my flaws and you're not fixing anything about yourself. Now, the situations they're having is he's basically full of complaints. He's complaining. He's complaining that she doesn't come home on time, complaining that she hangs out with her friends so much, complaining that she has male friends, complaining that she just went off, she was gone for about 30 minutes and he didn't know where she was, complaining that she's not checking in, complaining that she's not texting him when she's gone, complaining that she might not want to live with him in the same house. And now he's complaining about the damn dog, Rocky, because Rocky apparently in his 1 year of life, he's only one. He's still a baby. His 1 year of life is too excited or too overkill. Now, the one thing he did say is that he does bite people on the arm. Now, that part I feel like needs to change because I have my little sister Chihuahua. He used to bite people behind his ankles. And at first I thought this dog was demon possessed. And I thought we had to go and have an exorcism or something. But I had to fix that now. Since you're finna be biting nobody. I'm not finna lose my house, my car, be sued by somebody. That shit ain't gonna happen. But aside from that, Eric has so many complaints. And with Virginia, she's like, you want me to fix this, fix it. What are you doing to fix your own ish? And Eric is putting it like, I know I'm not perfect, but you need to do something. And I'm just like, damn. And then when she's going into like her emotional state because she has anxiety and she's trying to express herself, somehow he makes it about himself. So for me, Eric doesn't like to see his own flaws. He only likes to see other people's flaws. And I feel like he thinks that he's right all the time. And that could be a problem in this dynamic because Virginia is young, but she ain't that dumb. Now, we move on. They're talking about the dog. He said he wants to train the dog because he has a problem with Rocky and that his dog is well behaved. He already fixed all the little things. Whatever his dog does ain't that serious. Virginia is more emotional about this because she's connected to that dog. She had a huge depression situation and she felt like the dog saved her life. So I understand that concept. But when he's saying we can do this together, she's saying, well, it's my dog. Virginia did say later on that what she feels like is the way that he treats Tex and the way that he talks to his dog. I think his dog's name is Tex. Is slightly different than what he does when he's approaching Rocky, probably because he's irritated about that damn dog. So she doesn't want to give him all the trust and all the support to train her dog when she doesn't see that there's equal treatment in the way that he treats her dog. He's almost like a stepchild. This is a stepdog. Then he's saying at the same time when he's doing that, we're supposed to be doing this together. So I see why she's having a problem with it. Plus, you don't want him, it's almost like him saying that there's something wrong with the dog is also pointing out her flaws and maybe what she might do as a parent because she sees her dog as a parent. Nobody wants to be criticized as a parent and told what they're doing wrong by their life partner. But sometimes you got to hear it. I just think that Eric needs to also take accountability for the parts that he plays when he's wrong. Then we get to Haley and Jacob. Every time I see Haley and Jacob on the screen, I don't know if I should fast forward or what I should do because I don't see any kind of emotion between both of them. Because I don't see either one of them. I think at this point, Jacob's fed up. He's just like, I just want to get through this process, get to the point where we got to see if we're going to be together or not. I'm ready to go. Because I done tried everything. Now we're just fighting for no reason. And I'm thinking Haley needs to give up needs to do what she's supposed to do as a wife. She doesn't kiss him. She doesn't hug him. She doesn't hold his hand. Act like a damn wife. Jacob at this point, he is a little odd with the 80s shit. But I don't feel like Haley's putting in as much effort. I think all Haley wants to do is do what girls do, which is talk about themselves and talk about their aspirations, talk about their dreams. And for guys, their own love language is very different. I think that Haley and Jacob need to learn to understand each other's love language. She doesn't understand his humor. She don't understand his style. She's not working out with him. But at the same time, the therapist gave you advice to go ahead and kiss him and start doing stuff that would lead into what he might interpret as love. And your ass ain't doing shit. So Jacob at this point is like, he gets to this point where he holds all his anger in. And then when he can't no more, he goes off on her. And you got Haley in the corner crying tears of blood because she's feeling like she's exhausted every ounce. She's like, what you want me to do? Cut my head off and put it on a plate next? Because I didn't all the talking I need to do, but I still don't know you. You sexed him 2 nights when you guys first got married. You did what you were supposed to do or what you thought was right. You had sex with him. Then you cut it off. In any man's head, they're going to think that they're not adequate or they didn't do something wrong. Or maybe they didn't please your ass. And then add insult to injury. The therapist already told you, kiss him, hug him, touch him. You're not doing anything but talking, girl. I don't want to stare at your lips. I want to kiss your lips. I have your lips down south. That's what I want. And you're not doing either one. Shut up. I'm sick of hearing you because he keeps changing the subject every time she mentions something about herself. He's tired of talking, girl. He wants to do you. Pick one. Now, at this point, I'm thinking that she might not be into him. That's just it. Then we got Paige's brother and his wife, Christina, coming to visit her. And at this point, I think Paige just wants camera time. I didn't watch Paige from the first episode when she met this man and he had the nerve to have sex with her and tell her that she's not his usual type. Number one, because he's obviously comparing her to his ex, whom we since found out he wants to be with instead. Then he decided that maybe he didn't like her face, but he liked her behind. And I'm thinking if Paige would have just stayed in this house, be a kept woman for him, the rebound for him, and all she's got to do is hide her face and just have her ass up in the air every day, just upside down, he would have stayed. Because Chris is a hot ass mess. She's talking about how he tells her that he wants a divorce and that he wants to be with the mother of his kid, of his child. But the way that she put it to her brother, she forgot to tell him that the child is still baking in the oven, that the child is not out. She's omitting certain details that will kind of help explain some of the scenarios that's going on. At the same time, Paige, you chose to stay this whole time. And she's making it seem like she didn't want to walk away because she wanted to make sure this marriage works. She really wanted to be married. I don't think so. I think that once that man touched her and once the sex got played into it, I think that there's a little bit of a self-esteem issue with Paige. If I have sex with a man multiple times, and then the next day he tells me, not only are you not my type, but I don't feel like we can make this work. You're not just gonna feel like you're ugly. You're gonna feel like your performance in bed was also inadequate. So you're gonna want to kind of redeem yourself. So Paige was almost, I felt bad for her initially in the beginning of the episodes, but we're like, what, in episode 15? And she still stuck around. She still went to meet up with him. She still went up to talk to him. She still went to play basketball with him. So I'm feeling like you feel like he made you feel like you're not good enough to be with him. And then she sat with him in a conversation with the baby mama. And he said, after he told her that he wanted to work it out with her, she met the girl that she's being compared to, who's a very, very beautiful girl at that, who he went and bought a Mercedes for without telling you, talking about, I just don't want the mother of my kids to, drive around with a shitty ass car or without transportation. You can buy her a damn Camry, if that. Buy her a Honda. Hell, buy her ass a Ford Focus, not a damn Mercedes. And your ass still stayed and you were still willing to have a conversation with him. So I don't feel sorry for you. And her brother gave her the best advice that any brother could give their sister. This is a life lesson for you. This is something that you probably didn't think would happen to you, but God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Now that you've experienced this, you'll know what to do in the future when you meet somebody. All that kind of stuff that he's supposed to give her. But I also feel like Paige has a responsibility to take in the way that she was treated because she chose to stay. I'll be damned if somebody fed me that bullshit. All that line, tell me you're not attracted to me, you only want me for my ass. You try to manipulate me into the first wedding night saying that it's my wifely duty to have sex with you. Then we come out, you basically treated me like I was a freaking rebound. I feel like Chris married Paige on a whim because he was recently engaged before, just a few months prior, and he was still having sex with her before he actually went and got married. He was hoping that his ex would want to be with him if she saw him with another girl. But then when she saw him with Paige, she felt like Paige wasn't pretty enough to be able to be something that his ex will be intimidated by or will feel some type of way about. So then he decided, well, I'm just going to try to get her back because we have a baby. So I'm going to use that as an excuse to say we need to stay together. And when she didn't listen, he tried to bribe her with a Mercedes. And you still stuck around with that whole thing. So I don't feel sorry for you, girl. You chose this. Now, Ryan and Clara are in bed, again, sexless. And Ryan decides that he wants to put in work for the dog. Ryan, I asked my husband, baby, is it possible for a man to be married to you for a whole last month and not have sex with you? And you as the girl, your girl is walking around talking about this man don't want me. My husband said this. And let's be clear, my husband is not a homophobe. He's just a staunchly heterosexual man who loves ass, preferably, specifically my ass. But when I asked him, he said, this man is full of shit. He said, how do you expect to get to know? No, what did he say? He said that if it was him, he would have been balls deep in that ass. And that actually, this is what he said. He said, I would have been deep in that puss the first night, the first night we were married. Now, my husband is kind of a, he's kind of a hoe for me. I mean, he has a high libido and he's very, he needs ass constantly. He said, I'm a man. That's how I'm supposed to be. Ain't no way I'm going to be married to somebody and not be in that ass, be in the same bed with that person. So with Ryan being in the bed with Clara, I can understand the first maybe week or two of being married to her and saying, let me give us time. This is new. We did marry at first sight. Let me just give us time. But her love language, clearly, as she has said time and time again, is she needs some kind of physical anything. And your ass is sitting here saying that you want to put in time to work time on the dog, but you don't want to put in time on her ass. And y'all sharing a bed every night. What's she supposed to do every night? If I was Clara, because Clara is better than me, I'd have been masturbating right next to him and make sure that he felt and heard every sound, understood that I was being pleasured by everything and anything that is not him. Because I don't think any man would like that. Because he's sitting here, she has said it every which way that she could. All she needs to do now is just sit up there instead of straight up naked and just sit in front of him and say, what you gonna do about it? But she has said that she wants some ass so many times to the television. Hell, everybody that watches the show, we know that Clara is sexually frustrated. You're the only one that sit up there talking about we need a deeper connection. Ryan, the other thing that my husband said is if he's in doing that, he's gay. Because no straight man would be sitting up there with their wife in bed and not tapping that ass. That's what he said. I felt like I just laughed because I know he was serious when he said that. But because I know him more, I know his personality, but the way he said it had me rolling. I don't understand. I think Ryan is just full of shit. I think that in his mind, he probably didn't think that Clara was the type of woman he was going to end up with. Because I know his family did make a comment in the beginning that it almost sounded like they would have wanted him, because they're Creole, they would have wanted him to be with somebody who was either Creole or black, or maybe somebody in that area. I don't think that they expected a blonde white girl to be in his face. And I don't know if that's what Ryan is used to. I just don't know what Ryan's excuse is. Maybe race has nothing to do with it. I don't know. All I know is this girl is sitting up here telling you that you're her husband and you're supposed to be doing your husband duties, and you're over there holding your penis hostage. Why would you do that? I don't understand. It's like you're dangling in front of her face, but she can't quite reach it. What's the point? Y'all are already legally married. Quite frankly, this is what seals your marriage. You're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be doing her. You're supposed to be tapping that ass. You're supposed to be shaking some cheeks. She's ready. What's wrong with you? I've never seen a situation where a wife has to beg for a month for sex. It's crazy to me. Now, I will say that these people put a lot of effort into their dogs. The amount of time they had trainers, they had them go to go see this lady and bring their dogs in to figure out how they were gonna get used to their newly wife or newly spouse's dogs and try to train them or whatever. And freaking Chris's dumbass, they asked him, he said, I don't give a fuck about that dog. He's the only black man that was saying some shit like that. I don't give a fuck about that dog. I'm gonna sit there and try to train this. I don't give a fuck about Bentley. And you see the freaking producers, whatever council, like shaking his head like, damn, this guy don't want to put no effort into this shit. Then we have Haley and Jacob going go-karting because they want to do something fun outside of fighting. And even doing go-karting didn't get them excited or rowdy. I thought that she would come after she won that go-karting and that she'll jump up, yeah, I won, he let me win. Because we saw him flip around and just almost like he let her pass on purpose. Instead of doing, you know, I don't think that she noticed that he did that. It almost seems like Jacob is holding himself now from saying anything because he doesn't want to hurt her feelings, and that's a problem. But I think that in that moment, she should have jumped up and gave him a kiss. That would have been a perfect moment to show some kind of affection instead of sitting up there talking about your family and how you had to win or they would disown you. I feel like Jacob wants to disown you now because you've been a horrible wife. Now, we get to Chris' mom, Cynthia, going to see him in his not so glamorous apartment. I say that because Chris has made an effort to let us know that he made $12K in 1 month. And that he has all this money. And that he sees himself as a little egotistical maniac that has all these things to offer. He has the money, he has the career, he has the penis, he has the game. To him is like the token husband, and that he loves the Lord, and that's what he wants in his life. So he feels like he's a catch. But to see his apartment with all this, you know, big-headedness that he had, I was not impressed. I was expecting to see something that you'll find in 50 Shades of Grey. Instead, I see something that I found in, I don't know, a motel maybe? Well, actually, no, it is a little bit better than motel. How about a local hotel? That's a lot better. It wasn't something that was too luxurious for me to think that somebody like him would have such a big ass head. But his mom did come to see him, and he claims that he started complaining that she doesn't want to answer his call. And his mom said, I wouldn't answer your call either. Hell, you didn't just have a baby. You went and bought this. I'm thinking you just went and bought this girl a Mercedes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would I want to talk to you? You're disrespectful as hell. You're treating me like I'm trash. Then he tells his mom that after so many asks and after sex that he got from this girl, that he wanted a divorce. Now, Chris, in my mind, was using Paige, I said it before, because he wanted his girl to get jealous, and it didn't happen. And now he felt like she's not useful anymore. He got what he wanted. Once a person has sex with you, it's like there's nothing you can't rewind that. Paige did it because she thought that they were married, and Paige also said that he told her that that's what he's supposed to do. She's supposed to do as her obligation. So he manipulated that situation to get that ass, and then the next morning he still wanted more ass. Now that he's gotten all that from her and she stuck around, he doesn't want her no more. I felt like if Paige would have, the moment he said, I'm having a baby, if Paige would have said, well, I'm not touching you, I don't want to have anything to do with you, get out of my life, and she would have blocked him right away, I think that Chris would have chased after her, but I think she made herself too available. Because he felt like if this girl don't want me, my ex who I'm chasing after buying cars for, then I have her as a backup plan. But then after a while, he's like, I don't want to try to work that out. I'm not attracted to her. I'm just going to end it. Then we get to Vincent and Brianna, and they're doing that bike ride competition. Vincent lets Brianna win, and he's just chivalrous. I like them. We're just going to skip that scene. We get to Virginia and Eric got the serial killer glasses on, talking to her about, giving her a pep talk about how the dog needs to be trained and how Rocky, and it seems like while they're having this conversation, Rocky comes in because Rocky knows they're talking about him, and she gives him a toy. He runs away, and he's trying to dig and put it into like a little playpen or a little play dog thing, and Virginia's not taking him seriously because Eric is trying to express that this dog is annoying the fuck out of him, and Virginia feeling territorial because that's her dog. Excuse my French, and this might sound worse than it sounds, but this is some white shit. It's a dog. I've not seen myself fighting over a damn dog in my marriage. That would not be a bone of contention in my marriage. We're not fighting over a damn dog. That is not that serious. It's not that deep. Your husband is saying this dog needs a little bit of training. He's still young enough to train the dog. Just hire a damn trainer if you think Eric can't do the training yourself. Saying that you're too attached to this dog that you can't hear what he's saying when he says the dog needs training because you're feeling territorial don't make no sense. The dog shouldn't be a huge fighting issue in a marriage. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe because I'm Nigerian, and most Nigerians I've ever met don't even have dogs as pets. We don't do that. It's like, what the hell? And if they do have dogs as pets, they don't treat them on the same caliber as human beings. They don't abuse them, but they value human beings a hell of a lot more than a dog. I remember my dogs that I have. I love them to death, but when I was carrying my dog on my couch, my cousin was looking at me like, why the hell am I carrying this dog? So for me, maybe it's just a cultural thing. But I'm not about to fight with my husband about no damn dog. It's not happening. So we have, they start fighting. And she says that she don't want to talk about it and that it's not, she told him not to mention it. She throws a huge fit. She gets up and walks away. And the producers are basically like wondering what the hell is going on with them and why she's doing like, why she's throwing this tantrum. And they just go to the next scene. We get to Brianna and Vincent's apartment. Paige, Virginia, and meet up to talk. And Paige says, at this point, it's time to move on from Chris. Girl, he didn't want you. He told you several times he's not attracted to you. He was not that into you. At this point, you're just doing what's natural. If somebody said they don't want you, you don't have a choice but to pick you. Am I wrong? Like, there is no choice here. There's not a choice where you pick you or pick him. He said no to you. You don't have a choice but to pick yourself. But at this point, I'm like, Paige, you just took too long to get to common sense. But then Brianna goes into this mushy conversation and how she loves Vincent and how she, so touching, whatever the case is. I said, well, this experiment is working for them. Then Virginia decides to speak about her issue with anxiety and how she's trying not to run away from Eric. And then as she's saying that, she says she's talking about how she wants to see a therapist. And Paige, I swear, Paige had a moment of like, get out crazy. Like the lady with the teacup. She had that moment because she looked at him. She had a wine in her hand and she said, I have two therapists. I said, bitch, one's not enough? You had to have two? Paige has two therapists. And I'm not downing anybody who has therapists because I've been to therapy myself. It's just that it will make a lot of sense that Paige has two therapists, being that she stuck through Chris as long as she has so far. Because let me know in the comments, would any of you deal with all of Chris's shit if you didn't have common sense? Like, would anybody tolerate all that shit? And even if the first time when he said, I got a baby on the way and I didn't know about it, I can understand that. But then he went on to chase the girl, leave her at the airport, go to the girl, then come back and tell her that he's thinking about fixing things with her because he's worried about somebody else raising the baby. Then he throw another shot saying that he bought her a whole ass Mercedes and Paige has still yet to get anything and she's been married to him. Tell me if you would stay there in that relationship. So I understand why Paige needs two therapists. She might need a third one too after this nonsense. Then we have Jacob and Haley cooking dinner. I'm talking about his relationships in the past because now she wants him to open up more. He says that he's broke up with every single girl he's with except for some pumpkin patch girl. And while they're eating, she's trying to make conversation. And I'm like, girl, he's trying to eat a steak. He don't want to talk about Brussels sprouts. This is what I'm talking about with Haley. Haley wants conversation. At some point, talk. No man wants to talk that much when he's not getting any ass. If she would just go ahead and give him some affection, it would end the aggression. Because I'm feeling like he's sexually frustrated. It's been 32 days. Y'all have been together. He didn't have any. He hasn't got any since the first 2 nights. That means he's been celibate for the past month. And he has you in his bed every night. That's like dangling a bone in front of a dog and not letting them eat it. That's just cruel. So I can see him trying to like blocking some of the stuff that she's saying. Like, girl, give it up. We already did it before. She's trying to build connection based on talking. Excuse me. He's trying to build connection based on ass. So at this point, he's trying to eat a steak. And he's not asking her any questions. He's not trying to dive deep into the questions because he don't feel it. And if I was him, I wouldn't feel it either. I feel like Haley is looking for a way out. I don't think that she's really trying. I don't think that she's giving it her all. I think she's giving it what her interpretation of her all is, but she still hasn't followed what she was told to do, which means she's not giving it her all. She's giving it her all based on her comfort zone. She's not getting out of her comfort zone. And Jacob sees that I see it. In a way, I would take it like she's full of shit a little bit. You're not trying hard enough. You already did what you were supposed to do. I think that if sex was involved, intimacy was involved, kissing was involved, holding hand was involved, yes, they might fight, but then they'll be able to talk it out. It won't be some rage fest because there's something there to alleviate the stress. They might have some makeup sex too. But right now it's just let's talk. Girl, muzzle yourself and use your body to speak, not your words. Now we have Virginia and Eric officially moving past the honeymoon phase and getting into the first time living together fights. They're still talking about Rocky and it's ironic because right when Eric brings up Rocky's nosy ass is in the corner looking at him like, are you talking about me, bruh? And Virginia is trying to basically let him know that she wants to do better in the future and she wants them to be able to talk about stuff, but she don't feel like sometimes Eric is as honest or as straightforward as he likes to think he is. And it all comes back to Virginia boiling down to the fact that she feels like Eric is not as perfect as he makes himself seem, and he always makes every problem about their relationship about her. Like it's her. She needs to fix her. She needs to do this. She needs to do that. And that all he's doing is trying to fix her. She doesn't need to be fixed. You need to kind of work on adjusting yourself to accommodate her personality as well. Now we get to 20 days until decision day. Clara and Ryan in bed, no sex, talking about a damn dog. There's still no sex. And we're 20 days until decision day. And all the men meet up at somebody, I think Eric's house after that. And they're talking about the dogs. And Eric says Rocky bites, and that's what he wants to change. He talks about how she says it's her dog when it's supposed to be our dog, but if you're treating Tex, your dog, differently, then that's a problem. Then Vincent talks about how Eric may need to approach the situation differently so that way they can communicate better. Great advice. And then Jake talks about how him and Haley are still having a little bit of issues and stuff like that, not understanding each other, how his humor may not be something that she gets. Ryan's stupid ass, he's so delusional, he's so full of shit, goes in the confessional and says that he thinks that he's been a great husband to Clara and that 99% of the time he's been a good husband to her. How? The most important part of you that she's supposed to have experienced, she has yet to experience it. I don't know what I would do if my husband tells me that I cannot have sex with him and a whole month goes by. Do not keep this evidence, just in case he ever says that he was raped. This is not evidence. I would never, ever rape my husband. I'll just take what's mine. No means yes. No, seriously, don't. No, but for real, I don't think that I just don't see how that works out. And I think Ryan really is in his own head. I don't even think that he's paying attention to Clara. Because it seems like whenever he's even having a conversation with her, she's like looking at him, trying to I think that she has all these rage and all these pent up aggression that she's basically waiting to cuss him out. So he's in his head thinking like everything's going great. We're taking it slow. It's 99%. I'm doing 90% great. And she's like, you're not doing shit. And he's over here telling the man that he thinks that he's doing a great, they have a good relationship, and I damn near fell out my bed watching that show. Like, shut up, Ryan, for real. Like, you need to open your eyes and wake up. As intellectual as you like to think yourself to be, you need to be more perceptive, okay? Because you're not seeing what's going on with your wife and how she's feeling. You need to go over there and tap that ass real good. Now, there's another theory that my husband had. If it wasn't that he was gay, if it wasn't that he wasn't into her, and if it wasn't that, he said that the best option would be that he has a small dick. Maybe that's the problem that he has, is that he feels like maybe if she falls in love with him first, then she won't be so upset if he wasn't well endowed. Maybe that's another issue. That's the reason why he's trying to control the sex. I don't know. But there's something up with Ryan, because I don't think that no matter how much you want to get to know somebody, it's easy to withhold sex when you're not with the person every day. You're not sleeping in the same bed. You guys are meeting in different days. You're seeing each other maybe 2 or 3 times a week. But when you're in the house every single day, you're basically doubling that time period. And when you're actually married, sex is part of it when you're married. You're not girlfriend or boyfriend, bruh. So I'm not going for anything that my Brian said. You're just full of shit. I feel like every time he opens his mouth and talks about how we need a deeper bond, when your ass has never said I love you to somebody, I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. You ain't as deep as you think you are. Like, shut up, hush. Now we have Clara and Ryan in bed after the men meet, and they're discussing what went on. And of course, Ryan is giving himself all sorts of accolades and pat on the back, saying everything and anything that's the wrong. And Clara's lying in the chair, sitting on the chair, looking at him like, being irritated as hell, wondering why the hell she married him. Clara's fingers is not enough anymore, Ryan. You need to go ahead and do something else. Then I'm like, in a way, as he's talking to her, I feel like Ryan is using sex as a form of control in the relationship. I feel like that's his way of holding control in the relationship. And because if he says, we're not having sex until I'm ready, you're controlling the dynamic. It's one thing if he says, I want to withhold sex until it happens naturally. That's one thing, because we could be making out, we could be touching, maybe one day it just happen to happen, but there is a timeline that he put on it for himself. And Clara's trying to get like, okay, do you have a 3-month rule? Do you have a 6-month rule? Do you have a whole year rule? Like, like, are we doing this like as in let's go on a date, let's kiss, and if we make out one day and all our clothes fall off, then so be it. But are you subconsciously saying, we're going to do everything, I'm going to hold sex until I'm ready? That means that you're moving the relationship at your own timeline. You're not necessarily considering the other person. But here you are giving a speech about consideration and trust. You don't trust her enough to let her in intimately. What are you saying, bro? Like, Ryan's just so dumb to me. I can't. Now we have Clara finally blowing up. The next scene they showed is her going all the way off. And in the midst of her going off, she said that she holds her mouth a lot, which I can tell she does. She doesn't say how she feels a lot, which I can tell she does. And then she tells all the ladies that they're doing everything that's sex related. They're giving each other oral sex. They're using their fingers. They're probably out there using everything in the room, doing everywhere. She may have stuck her finger up his ass, you know, whatever, you know, the prostate tickle getting in there. They're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, except for him actually putting his penis into where it's supposed to go. Listen, this tab A goes in slot B, but he's withholding that crucial part, which makes me worry about the rest of his body. Then she said something that struck my nerve. She said, I'm getting you off every night. I said, Clara, that is your first mistake. This man told you that he's not about to do you until he's ready. He's withholding sex. And you're admitting that even though he said that to you, you've managed to get him off? Girl, bye. Let a man tell me something like that. We will both be frustrated, because what it's doing is Clara's getting him off. He's not sexually frustrated, but she's not getting off the way that she wants to, and she's frustrated. No, we will both be frustrated together. If I'm not getting off, you ain't getting off. I'm not doing nothing. We just gonna kiss. I'm not touching it. I'm not kissing it. I'm not holding it. I'm not tickling it. It's not coming anywhere near me. I'm not going to feel it through your pants. We're not going to be dry humping. We're not going to be doing any damn thing if you won't give me what I feel like is proper for us to reciprocate. You're already doing everything else, and y'all are in high school. Y'all are married. Like, I feel like this is some high school shit when somebody's trying to preserve their virginity. And, oh, that's another theory, that he might be a virgin too. He might not know what he's doing, but I don't think that Ryan is a virgin. I think that he's been de-virginized, but I think that either there's some insecurity there, or there's something that's forcing him to hold himself back, or it's something that he wants to control, because he feels like maybe if I withhold sex, I'll fall in love with her, and then I can have sex with her, because I've never said I love you to somebody. That's just controlling another aspect of the relationship. At some point, Clara is either going to take what she's owed, because I'm sure she's cooking, I'm sure she's cleaning, I'm sure she's doing her other wifely duties, and you're not doing your duties as a husband by laying the pot down. So I'm feeling like at this point, Clara should withhold any efforts in her part to get him off. He can be just as frustrated as her. Now, the next episode for next week is shown, and we find out that Brianna is going to go ahead and disclose to the therapist 3 weeks before they're supposed to decide if they want to be together, that she is deathly afraid of having a baby. Girl, get a surrogate. You know, if you save up for a surrogate, if that's something that you have a problem with, or if you don't want to use a surrogate, then you're just going to have them do an automatic C-section like Portia ass did, in which case you're not going to feel any pain. They're just going to, you know, have you sitting there. I don't know if she's worried about her body again. I don't know. What is the fear of somebody not wanting to have a child? I want to know what her reasoning is about her being so afraid of having a child, because my fear was that my vagina, when I get back together, if I was to push. But then I had my surgery and realized that I'm not going to push. My vagina is going to stay, you know, closed and tight, whatever the case is. But now my fear now is the C-section cut they gave me cut through my muscles. So I'm having all these 6-pack of rolls growing in places that I'm supposed to grow my muscles. I'm over here working out, trying to do sit-ups a little bit after the surgery. I'm not doing it no more. And nothing is happening. That was my concern. So if I had several C-section over and over again, what is my stomach going to look like? But my husband knows me better, because he's already agreed that he will pay for any surgery I need to get my body right. I love that man. He already knows me. Like, he knows everything I care about. So I want to know what Brianna's real issue is with not wanting to have a baby, because Vincent is not trying to not have a kid or somebody that he can leave behind when he's gone. With Jacob and Haley's case, Jacob says what I'm saying, the therapist, I don't think that she's trying hard enough. And Haley's boo-hooing as if she's trying, but she's really not, because there's nothing that you're giving other than mouth. Well, not the right way though, because you're just talking and talking and talking. Then we got Clara, and she's hit her point at which she can't go back no more. She's at the point where she didn't even do her hair. She just did her makeup and showed up to the interview because she is so sexually frustrated she don't care about doing her hair no more. Then we get to Eric and Virginia, and I don't know how they're gonna work. I feel like Virginia at the end is gonna leave Eric, because I think that Eric is making her feel like she's perfectly imperfect. He's telling her he loved her, but he's doing everything he can to mold her into the wife that he wants her to be, instead of acclimating to her personality and meeting her halfway. I feel like he's trying to change her in a way, and if that's the case, she's not going to feel comfortable around him, and she will walk away. With who else is left? I think those are all the couples. So that's what they showed. Oh, Chris showed up, and Chris tells the therapist that he even suggested that Paige should go with him to get the car. Boy, bye. But that's what the next episode is going to be. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I don't usually do Married at First Sight, so I'm a little bit nervous when I did it. I may have skipped some pertinent details, but this is the best I can do because my voice is going. You guys have a good rest of your day and your weekend, and we'll talk later.